So I have some exercises for us to do together. We are going to actually do some proofreading together, and I'm going to show you some things to look out for. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just introduce to you the importance of proofreading and editing. That's the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing is I'm going to take you through the difference between a proofreader and an editor. Okay? There is someone called a proofreader and there is someone called a copy editor. So they are an editor. And some people do both of these things. They edit and they proofread. So I'm going to explain to you briefly the difference between editing and proofreading. So that's the second thing I'm going to do. The third thing I'll do is I'll give you some tips, some techniques, how to proofread yourself. Okay? How to proofread and edit your own work. Okay? That's the third thing I'm going to do. The fourth thing, then I'm going to show you how you work with someone, a proofreader or an editor, looking through your thesis together. Okay? And then finally, we'll do some exercises together and I'll show you some techniques, what a proofreader looks for, what an editor looks for when they are going through a thesis, for example. So this is my intention for this evening's session. And I will keep some time at the end. Let's see how much time we have, if there are any questions. But you are free, as Bante introduced, you are free any time to ask questions. You can also put questions in the chat box. And I'll keep some time at the end so we can try and look at those together. So I hope that you all received the document that I prepared. The document, if I can share the screen. The document that you should have received is this one. Right? You should have all received, yes? I hope you have received.
Yes, Mr. Oliver, we all had received your PDF. Yes.
Okay. So one thing I will just tell you at the beginning, I have on purpose put mistakes in this document. Okay? I have put some mistakes, some grammar mistakes, some text mistakes in this document. This is to test you, to see if you can notice any mistakes I've made. Okay, so this is also an active lesson for you to see. I make mistakes all the time. I make grammar mistakes, I make spelling mistakes, punctuation mistakes. So if you see anything, you can highlight that. This is part of your proofreading and editing training. Okay, so let's go into it. I've selected here. So first of all, just make this a bit bigger. I just want you to read. So this is from one book. Okay, this is from the Comprehensive Manual of the Abhidhamma. The general editor is Bhikkhu Bodhi, but it's been put together by Sayadaw Rewatadhamma, and along with some texts from Venerable Sayadaw Silananda. So I want you just to read this paragraph and just keep in mind, what is this paragraph doing? What does it say? What's this paragraph saying? What is Bhikkhu Bodhi saying in this paragraph? Okay? Just keep it in your mind. You don't need to say anything yet. Just keep it in your mind. Something, what is Bhikkhu Bodhi saying in this paragraph? Okay? Okay. So I'm trying to give you time to at least read it. But let's come to another one. Okay, from another book, another very popular book, a very well-known book by a very famous Buddhist scholar, Early Buddhist Teachings by Professor Y. Karunadasa. Again, I want you just to read these 3 small paragraphs. What is he saying? Yeah, just keep in your mind.
It is saying he want to acknowledge. This is an acknowledgement.
Good, Bhante, good. Good.
Yes.
Good. We'll discuss more. There's one more to look at. Okay, I'll go to the next one. I hope I've given you enough time to read, but let's look at the next one. Again, this is from a very well-known book. Many of us probably have a copy of this book, The 5 Aggregates by Matteo Bosvert. So again, just take a few minutes, read these 2 paragraphs.
This is not the and
Hello, teacher.
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, I think in this paragraph I see 2 points. The past paragraph is saying the reason why he want to write this book.
Okay.
The second paragraph is, as I said earlier, it is acknowledgement.
The reason for just highlighting this to you, okay, is because I think many students have the idea that you are writing your thesis alone. You have to do it on your own. Yeah? You cannot rely so much on other people. Yeah? You have to take responsibility. You have to do it yourself. You have to check your thesis yourself. You have to do everything yourself. So I want to tell you very clearly, this is wrong. Okay? This is a wrong idea. Yes, you are writing your thesis yourself. It is your work. But as we can see, even the most famous Buddhist scholars, the most famous writers, they all have people who help them improve their writing. Yeah? Asking people to check, proofread, format, suggest, edit. Okay? So you are not alone. So you shouldn't think like that. Okay? So that's the first thing I want to make clear. By looking at these three examples, okay, you can see we need support. We need to help each other. Yeah? If you read your friend's thesis, if you check your friend's thesis for maybe grammar or maybe just checking their style of writing, then they can check yours. You can help each other. Don't be shy. Don't think, I cannot show my thesis to anyone. My writing is not good. My writing is not good and I can't show it to anyone. You must overcome this fear. Because if the more you show your writing to people, they will be able to give you many suggestions how you can improve your writing. Okay? So that's the reason for showing you this. These three examples, yeah, they all have people who proofread and check their writing. So proofreading and editing should not be seen as something extra. Oh, if I have time, if I have time at the end, I will try and proofread my thesis. Or if I have time at the end, I will try and make some improvements. It's not like that. Yeah, you should remove that idea from your mind. Proofreading and editing is essential. It is part of the writing process. Okay, it is part of the writing process at different stages. At different stages. So this is a very nice illustration, this picture here, because we can see, you know, the writing process starts with generating ideas. This is right at the beginning. Yeah, it could be thinking of ideas about your topic, your thesis topic, or it could be thinking about ideas about your chapters or your sub-chapters. Whatever stage you're at, we're generating ideas. Then we have the planning and outlining. Then we have the drafting. Drafting, that's what we do. We write something. It's a first draft. It's not finished. Then, maybe after drafting, we read it a few times. We look at our writing. Yeah, we look at our writing. Very importantly, after we've looked at our writing, what does it say here? Look at this. Get feedback. Start showing what you are writing to other people. Don't wait. Don't wait until the end of your process when you want to submit your thesis next month. You have to submit your thesis next month. Oh, I'll quickly check everything. Don't wait. Don't wait. When you finish maybe, let's say, a chapter, then get someone to check it. Yeah, that could be a friend. It could be, well, obviously it will be your supervisor, but it could be a friend, someone you trust, someone you respect, or someone who's very good in English. Yeah, if you're lucky, then maybe you're in contact with someone who, like someone who's really good in English, maybe who's from the UK or something like that. But it's important, yeah, that you start showing your work to other people. And then based on this feedback, okay, based on getting suggestions from your friends or from your supervisor, then you might come back. You might come back to drafting. Maybe you have to redraft. Yeah, you have to redraft. And then make some changes, improvements. So it goes round. Writing is what's called a recursive process. A recursive process. It means it's not from start to finish. It goes round like this in a forward motion. Yeah? Revising drafts here. And then look here, finally, what do we have here? This last one here. The very essential part, the final editing and proofreading. Final editing and proofreading. So this is not something separate. This is a very important part of your thesis. Okay? So that's the first thing I want to highlight to you, is the importance of it. Yeah? The importance of final proofreading. You spend years doing an MPhil or PhD. You want that to be the best that it can be. This will probably be your life's work. You will not do another PhD in your life. We will only do one PhD. It takes so long. So you want to make it as good as it can be. So that's why the editing, proofreading, polishing is very, very important. Are there any questions at this point? Any questions or any comments so far? No questions. I remember in 2019 I met Oxford Sayadaw, Venerable Sayadaw Dhammasami, and Sayadaw was he was telling us about when he was doing his PhD, his DPhil at Oxford University. So he would say, he would write a draft and he would take it to his supervisors, Richard Gombrich and Lance Cousins. They are two very, very famous, very, very respected Buddhist scholars, Richard Gombrich and Lance Cousins. And Sayadaw was saying he took drafts, they would read it and they would say, no, I don't like it, and cut, remove, send back, write it again. So he had to go through that process a number of times. Yeah, you write something, show it to someone, check it. Yeah, maybe you have to edit it, take suggestions, maybe you have to improve it. Yeah, so don't be shy. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. Okay, so I'm going to now move on to the second point. Okay, sorry, there's a question here. Does it mean we can or must? Okay, so yes, okay, there's a difference here between asking someone to help you write your thesis. That's a bit different. Yeah, that's a bit different. Actually asking someone to write your thesis. That is a bit different. This is not really that. So you basically write, you start writing, start writing your sub-chapters, start writing your chapters, then show it to someone. Then they'll give you suggestions. Yeah, then you take those suggestions and then make improvements to your writing. So, yeah, we have to be careful here with, asking someone to actually write your thesis with you. That's a bit different. But getting suggestions, having someone point out things like maybe mistakes that you're making, yeah, that's what we're discussing. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Okay, good. So the second point I'm going to move into is the difference between what's called a copy editor and the second one here is a proofreader, because they are not the same. Okay, they are not the same thing. So I'll just briefly explain to you the differences. Okay, so you can see here, what does a copy editor do? So the copy editor, they are really looking in detail at your writing. So they're really looking at, maybe here we have the first one, the tone. So what tone are you using? It means maybe sometimes you've used informal language. Yeah, somewhere in your thesis you've used informal language, so maybe they will make a suggestion to change some words to formal language. Okay, so that's what tone and content means. Logical flow of the information, that means that it's easy to read. Like when someone is proofreading or someone is editing or is proofreading, they can follow what you are saying. Yeah, your sentences are easy to follow. Yeah, so that means the flow. Coherence and consistency of information. It just means clarity. Yeah, clarity. That everything you're writing is clear. The points that you are making are clear. Maybe the examples that you're using support those points. So everything fits together. Clear meaning of the complete work. So you see the copy editor really has a more overall picture. You know, they're looking, okay, what are your chapters? What's the main point of each chapter? So they're really looking in much more detail. Precise expression of the idea. Okay, again, that's just making sure that your writing is you know, expressing the idea clearly. Meets the purpose of the work. Okay, so that's what we're doing, MPhil, PhD. Accuracy in the information. And then targets the right audience. So our audience is obviously the scholarly field, or you could say the anyone in the Buddhist field. So that's what a copy editor aims at doing. It's really much more detail, really looking at many things. Whereas a proofreader, someone who does proofreading, they are only really looking for things like spelling mistakes, typography. This means maybe the font that you've used. Maybe in one place you've used Times Roman, maybe in another place it's slipped to another font, Cambria or Calibri, maybe something like that. It's, you know, the text has slipped into another font. Or the size might be different. Maybe here you've got 11, here it's 12. So that's the type of thing a proofreader will look out for. Proper grammar. Okay, they'll be looking for proper grammar. Punctuation is a very important part of a proofreader's job. And then accurate use of language and format. Okay, so you can see here, they are really looking at sort of the words that are used and more the sentences, I would say. Whereas the copy editor has a more overall picture of like your argument and what you said. Maybe you mentioned something in the introduction, but then you forgot to say that in the chapter. So a copy editor will have that in mind. They will have more of the overall picture. Whereas a proofreader doesn't do that. A proofreader is just looking for really grammar, punctuation, spelling mistakes. Okay, and here we have the differences then. So the copy editor checks for consistency, looks for repetition and redundancy. So this is very common in our writing. Sometimes we don't see it. We don't see it. In one paragraph, maybe we've repeated the same word many times, but you don't see it. But a copy editor will see it. They will pick those things up. Redundancy means just, are you just using words unnecessarily? Maybe they will remove some words. Well, you don't need to use that word. You can delete that word. Transitional signals. Transitional signals, we know these words. We use them a lot. Furthermore, however, moreover, some more. Therefore, moreover, however, on the other hand, on one hand, on the other hand. These are called transitional signals. And sometimes we overuse them in our writing. Okay? The copy editor also looks for improvements in style. So they're really trying to improve your style of writing. And then maybe they will rewrite some sentences. Yeah? Maybe they will actually help you rewrite. They will look at that. Maybe you've got a very complicated passive voice sentence. Maybe the copy editor will suggest, well, why don't you change that to active voice? Yeah? So something like that a copy editor might do. And it says here that it's done after the first draft. So the copy editor is really coming before the end. The first draft could be the first draft of a chapter. It could be the first draft of a chapter. Some students like to check chapter by chapter. Maybe other students, they'll wait until they've finished all the chapters and then they will ask someone to check it. Okay, so it just depends. It just depends what you want. Proofreading, we can see, this is really checking the margins, the line breaks, the indentations, the page numbers, the headers, the footers, page numbers, contents in each page. They don't rewrite anything. So a proofreader will not rewrite anything. They are just polishing, making sure there are no spelling mistakes or punctuation mistakes. And that's done at the very end. Okay? So this is very important. You don't have to be perfect. In fact, I think most books, even the most famous books, the very popular books, probably you can find at least one mistake in there. Okay? We are human beings, so we're not perfect. Yeah? Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes we miss small things. But the aim should be to make this the best that it can be. Yeah? A high quality piece of work. Yeah? And it's actually, as I will explain now, it's actually very difficult. Some people say it's actually impossible to do the copy editing and the proofreading at the same time. So that's why actually they can be two different people. You can have one person to be the copy editor. You might have another person to be the proofreader. And in fact, sometimes that might be better because what you want is really someone to check what you have written who has never read it before. So they are looking at your thesis with fresh eyes. So they will be able to pick up these points. But very often it will be the same person. You'll have someone do the copy editing, helping you to improve your style of writing, and also the same person will be the proofreader. So really they are done at different times. Yeah? Maybe the first check you'll go through maybe spelling. Maybe the second check you'll go through punctuation. Maybe the third check you'll go through, and then you'll start to look at the sentences. How can you improve your sentences? Yeah, so we don't just do one read through. Usually it's a few times we read through, whether it's a chapter or a thesis. Any questions? Are there any questions at this point? I hope you can follow. Is it clear? Can you follow? Is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
Individually, I can follow.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
Yeah.
So are there any questions or any comments, anything at all? Okay. Okay, no questions then. Okay, so let's go through. So the next point we'll look at is, I want to try and give you some tools, actually this is actually what professional proofreaders do. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to what professional proofreaders do. So I'm going to share with you these techniques that you can hopefully use yourself. Yeah, because we want to check our work ourselves as much as possible. We always want to do that. Before we send it to anyone, we want to at least go through it a few times ourselves, just to make sure that, you know, it's at least reasonable, yeah, to show to someone. So I want to give you some techniques that you can use yourself, okay? And this is what professional proofreaders do. I am not a professional proofreader, although I am doing a lot of proofreading now, and I have developed a lot of my own skills and techniques, so I feel much more confident with doing proofreading, and now I've had the opportunity to help a number of people, not just students, also doctors, professors, for articles, theses, journals. I've done a lot of proofreading now, so I hope that these techniques will be useful for you. Okay, the first thing to keep in mind is, whenever we write something, after we have written it, we then create a mental image. We create a mental image of that paragraph or of that piece of writing. It's now fixed in the mind. We might read it 20 times, okay? But we know what we are reading. We know what we are looking for, okay? So the first technique is to try and be able to look at our writing in a different way. So the first technique is let it breathe. It means after you have written something, if you want to check it, don't check it straight away. If you have time, let it sit. You know, at least for a day, at least for 1 day or 2 days. The longer you can leave, actually, the better, because then when you come back to look at it again, you will have fresh eyes. You will see things that you did not see before. I have done it myself. I have proofread myself things that I have written. I have gone through so many times, and now, okay, definitely there are no more mistakes. I have checked it many times. Maybe 1 month later, 2 months later, I come back and I look at that piece, and the first thing I see is, oh, many mistakes, I missed those. Okay, so that's the first thing. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Put it down, give it some time, and then look at it again. The next point is, we can't always trust the spell check on MS Word, Microsoft Word, because sometimes it won't actually be a spelling mistake. You know that. I know we all have experience with this. We type something, the red line does not come. Okay, because it's not a spelling mistake, but it's the wrong word. It's a different word. Okay, so we can't always trust Microsoft Word. Okay, and there's something very easily you can do to help you with this. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but there are available some online software. You can actually download some of this software for free as an app. Okay, you can download this software, or you can just use it online. I will show you. I will give you a demonstration how it works. So it's called IA software, and the very famous one is called Grammarly. It's called Grammarly. I think maybe some of you have heard of it. Maybe you've seen a lot of advertisements for Grammarly. It's actually very good. I've tested it myself. It's actually really good, and it's free. You can do it online. You can take maybe a page, maybe page by page. You can upload it into Grammarly, and it will check for you. But it won't just check spelling. It will check style. It will check the words that you used. It will give you suggestions. So I'll show you that. I'll give you an example of that. So that's very, very useful. That's something easily you can do on your own. Another technique which some proofreaders do, the whole idea is when you're proofreading to try and break that mental image, that picture you have of your writing, because our pictures are always very beautiful. Our pictures are always perfect. This paragraph is perfect, there are no mistakes. That's the mental image you have. But maybe if you show it to a proofreader, they will point out maybe many corrections. So another thing you can do is to break that mental image. When you proofread a page or a chapter, you can change the font size. You could actually make it bigger. Yeah, you could make it bigger. Or if you've got a monitor, some people like myself now, I have a monitor. I have an external monitor along with my laptop, and I can make the document really big. Yeah, really big on the screen, so I'm not missing anything. I can see everything really clearly. So that's a good technique. Then you can really see everything: the commas, the apostrophes, the quotation marks, full stops. Everything you can see really clearly. So that's a good technique when you're proofreading something. So number 4, professional proofreaders will tell you that you will always be able to proofread better on something you have printed out. Okay? It is easier to pick up mistakes on something you've printed out. So you've actually got a hard copy. Okay? Because we look at the screen when we're proofreading, the screen actually, although we're not aware of it, it is flickering slightly. So sometimes it plays tricks with our eyes. So sometimes we can't pick out all the mistakes on the computer screen. So professional proofreaders will actually print it out. They will ask for a hard copy of your document, and they will take a red pen, and then they will go through like that. Personally, because as we know, we're facing this difficult situation with with COVID-19 and with the restrictions. And now actually I'm doing a lot of my proofreading on Zoom. So it actually works very well that we can actually together put up the thesis on Zoom. You can share the screen and you can go through it together. So most of my checking that I do now is on computer screen. But it will never be as good as having a hard copy. Having a hard copy is always what's recommended. Yeah. So that's the 4th point. The 5th point, this might seem really simple, okay, but this is what professional proofreaders do. This is what they do. They use a ruler. So as an example here, they will cover each sentence, okay, or maybe let's say 2 sentences. They will cover the rest so they cannot see. So it means your eye cannot jump. Yeah, your eye cannot jump to the next point. So you are really reading every word you are reading, every clause you are reading very carefully. So using a ruler, if you have the hard copy of your thesis printed out, you can cover. So just read line by line and then move the ruler down as you read. You will be able to pick out mistakes more easily. Okay, so that's a technique that professional proofreaders use. Yeah, using a ruler. What do we have the next one? Yes, this is what I mentioned earlier, number 6. It's impossible to do everything at the same time. So you can break out you can break out your checking into stages. So let's say you're checking one chapter. You've written one chapter and you yourself want to check that chapter. So you can do it in several stages. So maybe the first thing you'll look at, okay, I'll look at punctuation. I will only look at punctuation, so commas, full stops, apostrophes, inverted commas, speech marks, double inverted commas, single inverted commas. So you can just look out for that on one pass. Then maybe on the next pass, you're looking for spelling. Yeah, you're looking for spelling mistakes. Or on another pass, you're looking for something else. So each pass, you can actually refine. Yeah, you can look at different things. This is also very effective. Okay, the seventh one, this might seem really, it's not easy actually. This one, number 7, is very difficult. Read it backwards. This is what some professional proofreaders do. They read it backwards. Okay? It takes time, but professional proofreaders are practiced with this. They will read it back, so they'll read it forward, and then they'll read it back in reverse order. So they are really looking at every single word. Okay? But it's not an easy technique. Sometimes it's difficult enough just reading forwards. So reading backwards is difficult, but it's what they do. The 8th point, this is very important, okay? And I don't think we do this enough. Read it out loud. It's great if you have a friend. If you have a friend, give your thesis to them and ask them to read it out loud, and then you can listen. You can actually listen to your own writing. Yeah, it's a very, very effective technique to do. But if you don't have a friend to read it, there's software, again, free online software. I will show you. Okay, I'll give you an example. This one's called naturalreader.com. You can actually upload your text into this, what's called naturalreader.com. You can upload it and you can choose the voice. You can have American English, you can have British English, you can have a male voice or a female voice, and it will read your text for you. And then you can listen. So sometimes what happens when we listen, we think something doesn't sound right. Something doesn't sound right with that sentence. Maybe something's missing. Then you can go back and you can look. I missed that. I missed that point. Maybe I missed an S. Yeah, maybe you missed an apostrophe S or something like that. So that's very, very useful to do that. Then number 9, as I explained earlier, ask a friend or a colleague. Someone you trust. Someone you feel... Yeah, someone you feel comfortable with. This is very important. Someone you feel comfortable with. Someone you trust. Yeah? Someone who you feel... Because sometimes we're like that. We don't want to be judged. Oh, my writing is not good. My writing is not good. So find a good friend. Yeah? And then they can also give you suggestions and they can read it to you. Yeah? And the last one, which... Let's be honest, it's the best thing to do, actually. Yeah, it's actually the best thing to do is call in a professional. Yeah, call in someone who can check it for you. So if you're in a position where you can do that, then it's highly recommended. Yeah. When I finish my thesis, I will give it to at least 2 or 3 people, and I will ask them, please check this. Please give me any suggestions. Please find the mistakes. Openly and sincerely, I will ask a number of people to check my work. Okay? So this is actually a very good thing to do. Yeah? Any questions now? Any questions? so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Bante.
Yes, you show the only 10 kinds of point. It is very clearly for us, I think. But sometimes when we writing in our thesis, but no, we cannot follow all. So which one is the most important for us? Do you know?
Well, if you just did number 10, then you wouldn't have to do 1 to 9. Yeah, you only do number 10. You just give it to someone to check for you. Yeah, that's what even the most famous writers do. That's what they do. They get to the end of their writing and they give it to someone else. Yeah. The number 1 is very effective. Number 1 is very effective to do on your own, letting it breathe. Yeah? Write it, put it down. Put it down, don't look at it. Yeah? And then come back after some time and then look at it again. So that's very, very effective, number 1. Yeah. And then the other ones are optional. I was just showing you this is actually what professional proofreaders do. Yeah, these are the techniques. So you can use as many or as few as you like. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sir,
sometimes.
Yes, Mandeep.
let it breathe. How many time? How many time in a month? But I do let it breathe. You explain us so many times. We have to do let it breathe. So
Yeah.
I want to know how many time in a month we need to do let it breathe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, Bante, and I can't give you an exact answer because usually what happens, we know this in our writing process, usually we are concentrating on one chapter at a time. So, let's say we're doing chapter 2, we'll just be working on that one chapter. That's what I would advise doing, rather than jumping. I'll do a little bit here and then I'll jump and then I'll do a little bit there and then I'll jump and then I'll jump. Better to at least finish most of one, then move on to the next one. Then you can come back. So I can't give you an exact answer, but as many times as you can. It just depends. Yeah, it depends, and it depends at what stage you're at. Like it's very common for MPhil or PhD candidates to contact me and say, "Oh, I want to submit this next month. Can we quickly check it?" So then there's not a lot of time. So then time is short. So I would always recommend don't leave it to the last moment. Checking and sharing and inviting suggestions should be done, like we looked at here. You see? Like we looked at here. Yeah? It should be done many times. Yeah, it should be done many times.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Good guidance.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Another.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one question, teacher.
Yes, Bande.
Let's go back to your document, number 7.
Oh, sorry. Yeah?
But,
You want to ask about reading backwards?
yeah. This part, this page. Number 7.
Yeah.
Read it backwards. So it means like Padisa Samobara. When we go to study Padisa Samobara, there is something that we can see. Because of this, there's a rise.
Yeah.
Come back again. Because of this, appear that appears. It is called Anono Padilo in Pali language. So it's similar to what I say.
I suppose you could say it's patiloma. I suppose you could say, but I'll give you an example, because the reading backwards bit might seem really like, oh, how is that possible? It's just not possible. So I can just give you an example of what it looks like. So if you look at number 2, okay? If you look at number 2, reading backwards would be something like this. Grammarly, like Grammarly, software like Grammarly, AI software like Grammarly, using AI software like Grammarly, try using AI software like Grammarly. Word, MS Word, on MS Word, check on MS Word, spell check on MS Word, trust spell check on MS Word, don't trust spell check on MS Word. So that's like backwards. Yeah. The whole point is to try and break the mental image you have, because when we read things over and over again, we get stuck. We just see the same thing. We don't see those mistakes. So the point is we're trying to break the mental image. Yeah, make the font bigger, or change the font style. Maybe if it's in Times Roman, put it in another font. Anything to try and change up the look of the text. It will help you to pick out mistakes more easily.
Yes, thank you, teachers, your feedback.
Good. Okay, so Venerable Aryawanza, do we normally go 2 hours straight through? Like, what's the usual format?
Yeah, you can spend 2 hours, 2 hours at most.
Okay, but
asking question session after
okay.
2 hours.
Are you does anyone need? Do we need a small breather? Like, let it breathe. Do we need to let this session breathe for a bit? Do we have a break for 5 minutes, or are you comfortable? Shall we continue?
Right. Good idea.
Okay, see you.
See you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Idea.
Okay. Let's have a then really short break. We can just for 5 minutes just have a refresh. Yeah, and then I'll show you using these Grammarly and the natural reader. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Yeah. Okay, so let's just have a short break.
Grammar, spelling, yes, more than grammar or spelling, we need to notice a small punctuation. So when we explain the word, the terminology of the words, so sometimes we need to put the single open embedded and close embedded comma. Sometimes we need to put the double open embedded and close embedded comma. Yes, my question is how the punctuation is important in the proofreading as well,
Yeah.
yes, and also our thesis writing as well. Yes.
Yeah, good question, Bante, because when I do proofreading and checking, it's one of the things that comes up quite a lot. And you may have seen in this document that I sent you, I have some examples. Right?
Example one, yes.
That is on purpose. Okay, I have not made a mistake. Okay, I've done that on purpose to show you. So yes, you've pointed that out. So that's something we will look for. So yes, that's what a proofreader will be looking for, consistency. So if you are using double inverted comma for terms, then you have to use that throughout your whole thesis. Okay, so if you like to use, for instance, when you're doing quotations, if you like to use single quotation marks, you can do that. But you have to use that style through your whole thesis. Okay, and that's what a proofreader will be looking for, or you could say an editor will also be looking for, is, oh, up in that chapter you use double, but here you've used single. They will be looking for that.
Now we
Yeah,
use,
they will be looking for
yes,
that.
we use consistently. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Another thing that professional proofreaders do, which I didn't write it here, but I'll just show you. When professional proofreaders, when they have a hard copy, what they will do is they will do this. They will, with a red pen, they will circle all of the punctuation marks. Okay, they will do this. This is what a professional proofreader does. They will do this with a red pen, okay, like this. They will mark all of the punctuation, and it breaks up. You see, it breaks up your sentences, so then you can then make sure that every bit is correct. So that's another technique that they do. Yeah, so you can also use that style.
It could
Remember, this might be like, as I explained, in stages. So maybe one stage will be just looking for punctuation, commas, full stops, colons, semicolons, inverted commas. They will just be focusing on that.
Yes, yes. We should focus on even on small things.
Yeah.
So because punctuation make more clarification.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same, yes, you're right, Bunter. You're right. It is important. We want our writing to be as good as it can be. Actually, we want our writing to be perfect. That's what we want. That's what we try to do. But even the most famous writers, they make many grammar mistakes. Yeah, many grammar mistakes, because actually your idea is more important. Your argument, your points, your evidence, that is actually more important, because that is really what your thesis is about. That is what your research is about. So a proofreader or an editor, a copy editor and a proofreader, they are there just to help you improve your argument, improve your thesis. Yeah, that's their job. Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah, Bante, welcome.
Now, yes, you can move to your lecture.
Great, thank you, Bante. So I'll just give you a brief example of using Grammarly. Okay, you can use this yourself. So if I stop sharing.
Mr. Oliver, can I ask you a question about
Yes,
the
please.
punctuation?
Yes, Bante.
Punctuation?
Yeah. Yes, Bante.
So these days, we hardly see the long decks. Long decks. We hardly see the long decks. Most of the
Yeah.
places,
Yeah.
most of which area we need to use the long decks in
Yeah.
our paragraph.
Yeah, that's also a good question, Mante. It's a really good question. And my understanding is actually very rarely we should be using the dash. We shouldn't be using it that much. I would say that the most common, so you can see, well, if I just bring that back, you can see, because I had a dash there, didn't I? Where was that? Yeah, I had a dash. I've got a dash here. So it's not used very often, and I would say the most common place that it's used is when we have two words joined together, when it's in the middle. That's the most common place. So for instance, like here, rewriting. You see that word there, rewriting? So you can see the dash there. I'd say that was the most common. My understanding is that, yeah, the dash is like, it's not used that much. Sometimes I do see it when there's like a Pali verse and then maybe the English translation follows immediately after. Sometimes I've seen it there. But that's something you would have to check with, you know, the person who's doing your proofreading. They will be able to guide you on that. You know, they'll be able to give you some advice. But it's, yeah.
Mr. Oliver, when I read this book, The Battle of
Yeah.
by Brown, I found a lot of long decks in the paragraph.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just a style thing. I mean, it's not, you know, it's just a style thing. And the thing is, Bante, as well, that different writers will be following different style guides. You know, like there's the APA style guide, there's the Chicago style guide, Harvard. There's lots of these style guides, and they are slightly different. So some writers will follow one style, another writer will follow another style. So it doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent. That's the point. Yeah, to be consistent. Yeah. So if you like to use dashes like here, then you be consistent in your thesis.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, so I just want to show you an example here of. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Right. Okay. This is one paragraph that we're going to look at, but I'll just show you. Okay. So this is Grammarly. Okay, this is Grammarly. I'll just make the screen bigger so you can see. So it's free. Okay, this is a free online software, and you just have to put your email address and create an account. But here, there is the pro version as well. Okay, you can pay for this. The professional version, the paid version, you have it as an add-on in your computer, and it checks everything you write. Checks your emails, checks any documents, everything. It checks everything. But this is the free version. Okay, this is web-based. So what you can do here is go to New.
Very nice suggestion.
It's just uploading now. So go to New. Right. So this is what it looks like. Just loading. Right. So what you can do here, I've copied some text from a document that I have. I can then paste it here. Okay? And it uploads into here. And you don't need to do anything with this, because if you start clicking buttons, then it will ask you to pay money and go for the version. But if you wanted to go for the premium version, it says here, you know, you can change like the audience, like, okay, the audience, they are experts. You can change the formal language. You can change the like academic and domain. You can change the tone. You can change the intent. There's lots of things you can change. But the free one, we don't touch anything. We just click done. Right, so now I've got this text here. Okay? You can see this text. And it's highlighted, but it's highlighting, it's not just highlighting spelling mistakes. Look here. It's saying there are 5 things here. So we've got word choice, we can see here. This bit here, okay? So it's got word choice suggestion, it's got punctuation, it's got formatting, it's got unclear sentences, misuse of semicolons, quotation marks. So it's giving me, it's pointing out my mistakes. So if we click on each one, so if we click here, so here, word choice, where is that? Oh, here we go. Sorry. Oh, yeah. So here. What happened there? I think it's a bit slow. Okay. So here it's telling me. Here it's telling me that. Sorry, there's a bit of echo there. Yeah. So here it's telling me that, you know, blue. You see, it's come from term. Okay. So that's not a spelling mistake. It's saying here, this description is more concise when you don't repeat the noun. So it's basically telling me to remove that. Okay, you might not agree with it, but that's what it's suggesting. Okay, and then look here, the next blue line, in order to. So if I look here, if I click here, so it's giving me a suggestion. It's telling me to change in order to, just to change it to, because the phrase in order to may be wordy. Too many words. You don't need to use too many words. So it's suggesting to me to change that. So I can click that and it will change it. Okay? And the same one here. Yeah? So here, you can see here, this is the full list of all the words. So here, for instance, look at this. It says, the Pali. It's highlighted, the Pali. Well, what's wrong with that? So if we click down here, it's telling me, it seems that there is an article usage problem here. So it's telling me to remove the article the. It's asking me to remove the article the. Just put, if I click on it, it just changes to Pali. Okay, so it's not just checking spelling, it's actually giving me a lot of suggestions. The same here with the Buddhism. Well, what's wrong with that? Let's click with that. The Buddhism, okay, it's telling me that there's a problem with the article. It's telling me to remove the article. So I can click on that and it's removed it for me. So like this, I can go through each suggestion and I can make the changes and then I can copy that back to my document. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's Grammarly. So I hope that, you know, it's free, it's just used online. Start using it because I think it's really effective. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's like you have your own editor. Yeah? Okay. And the next thing I'll show you.
Teacher,
Yes, Bandit.
how many pages can I just resolve?
Yeah, good question. I haven't actually. There may be a limit.
Yeah.
There may be a limit.
So most of the free software is limited.
I put in yesterday. I put in at least 2 pages. It allowed me to upload 2 pages, so you can at least go 2 pages by 2 pages. Yeah.
8
2
pages.
page upload, do then another 2 page and another 2 page. Yeah.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
I cannot just the whole pages.
You can try. You can try and you can let me know.
I had already tried.
And what happened?
No.
How many pages did you upload?
It's I did 1,000 work.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
Because 1,000 was.
Yeah, 1,000 words is a lot. So that's really good. You can check. You can write 1,000 words, then you can check it. You can upload it here. You can check it. Then the next one. Then the next one. Then the next one.
Yeah. Some always request money.
Yeah, this one is the free version. So
Yeah.
you try this
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, try this one. Okay, so the next thing I'll show you. This is called Natural Reader. Bante, can I share the sound? Have I got that setting that I can share the sound? Because I want to play it. I don't have settings here. Venerable Aryawanda, can I
Hospital monk.
yeah, can I share the sound and settings? I don't know where I do that.
Yeah, Mr. Sumina, please guide him. Hot. There's a hot monk in this Zoom session.
Okay.
He knows Japanese much better than me.
Okay.
Let's
Okay. I've put in the chat box. Somebody asked me. Oh, sorry. I need to send that to everyone. For the web. Okay. This is called Natural Reader, and then this one is called. This is called Grammarly. It's called Grammarly.com. Okay. I'll put it in the chat box. Right, I put it in the chat box, so everyone should see that. Okay, so this one, same thing. I can. Oh no, I've lost that one. Just give me a minute. Right, I'll copy this one again. Okay, so the next tip is having something read your writing. So this one. Oh yeah, I've got it here, Bante. I can share this sound. That's good. Okay.
You okay?
Okay, yeah, I got it, Bante, that's good. Okay, so this one is called naturalreaders.com. Naturalreaders.com. So if I wanted to hear what my writing sounds like, I can upload this. I can upload the same paragraph. There are lots of mistakes in here, okay? I've done that on purpose. There are mistakes in here, but I've uploaded it. What I can do up here, I can choose a voice. Okay, I can choose a voice. So I want British. So I'm going to listen to British. Sorry, it's a bit slow. Okay, so I've got a choice here of voices. So I'm going with Rachel from the UK. So I can click that, and the speed, I can slow the speed down. So -1 is actually a good speed. And then I press play. So if you just listen.
The term Dhamma is perhaps the most important term in the Pali Buddhism. despite its crucial position in the Buddhism Dhamma, has several ways of being translated and interpreted depending on the context it's being used. In this chapter, I will review the meanings of Dhamma as it appear in the canonical Theravada Buddhist text, the commentaries, in order to bring out its deeper meaning. Each of these areas will be explored in detail in order to provide the accurate meaning of the term Dhamma.
Okay, it's not perfect, but it's actually pretty good. You can listen. How does it sound? Maybe after listening you think, something doesn't sound right. Something doesn't sound right. Maybe I've used a wrong word or something. It just helps you to identify maybe mistakes that you've made. Okay, so this is another thing that you can do. It's called naturalreader.com. Okay, so is it clear? This is I'm just showing you for your own knowledge. Okay, for your own knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello, teacher.
Yes, Bante.
Yes, so if we use this application,
Yeah.
so how can we know or what is a mistake? Where is a mistake by only listening this song?
Yeah. It's just another tool, Bante. Because I know it's really difficult to listen and find the mistakes. I know it's difficult, but it's just another tool. Yeah, it's just another thing that you can use. That sometimes it happens that you just listen to something and something doesn't sound right. It could be with the flow. It could be maybe you've got lots of short sentences, one after the other. And after listening to it, you think, it doesn't flow. Maybe I need to join some sentences together. Yeah, it's just another tool. You can use it or not. Yeah? I'm just showing you different techniques, different things that you can do. Yeah?
Yes. Sometimes I see some computer give this service. They already have this system. I think so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's common. It's common. Okay, so we have time flies. Now we have half an hour left. So what we're going to look at now is the last part of our session, which is I want to show you what to look for, okay, in proofreading. So if we come here, this is the document that I sent. So I've got some examples here, okay? I've got some examples because we can see here I also agree with this. We can check as much as we can on our own. We can do our own self-checking using the techniques that I showed you, but I think it's always best to have someone else look at your work. And that's why many people will tell you it's impossible to accurately proofread your own writing. Why is that? Because we have a mental image. Yeah, we have the mental image of a perfect piece of writing, no mistakes. But the reality is something different. Yeah, so you can see here, the mental image is, I have written several drafts, have edited it many times, and now my mind looks for and sees the meaning that it has created. So this is the mental image. And you have that in your mind, it's fixed. You can't see anything different, which is why when someone's proofreading or editing your document, they will see the reality. And the reality is, you can see, I have written several drafts, no comma, have edited it many time, missing an S, and now my mind looks for and sees, wrong spelling, that's a spelling mistake, the meaning that it has create, missing a D. So this is very common. Yeah. So the main points for someone checking your work is, number one, they have never read your work before. This means they are coming and looking at your work with fresh eyes. Training experience is preferable, but it's not essential, as long as they're very good in English, they have confidence in English. Must be willing to read out loud. Yeah? Note anything that interferes with their reading, anything that sounds not right. And I just want to make one point on this, because this is a bit different. Proofreading or editing translations is very difficult. I have done it a few times now, and it takes more work. Yeah, it takes more work. So doing translations and editing and proofreading, it takes more time. So you have to allow for that. Yeah, you have to allow for that. It's not like other types of theses, maybe a more sort of textual analysis or historical study, where you can actually check it. You can check it more quickly. But the translations of text, that takes time. Okay. So we have half an hour left. You may be familiar with this. Yes, and any question?
Any question?
No question? Okay. Okay. You may be familiar with this, you may not be. Okay, but this is what I do when I'm proofreading, and this is what other professional proofreaders do. Okay? There are lots of proofreaders available. So it's the review tab up here. Okay? Here's up here the review tab. Okay? This is where we do the checking. This is where we do the editing. Yeah, the review tab up here. Yeah, up here. So I'll just introduce this to you. We have, if you click on the review tab, what do we get here? So you can see we've got here track changes. There are two things we need to look at: track changes and new comment. So track changes is here. This is track changes. You can turn it on or off. Okay, this is track changes. And then this is new comment. Okay, track changes and then new comment. So as an example, if I wanted to do track changes, this is what I do when I'm proofreading. I turn this on. Okay, I click on. Now this is on. You can see track changes is now on. So it means just give me a minute, my computer's slow. Okay, track changes. It means now any changes that I make to the document any changes now I make to the document, it's now put that in red. Okay, it's put it in red. Okay, and you can see a mark there. I can also add something up here. You see markup options. So I can put no markup. I can change it to all markup. Yep, so you can see it. So a proofreader will have these preferences. Okay, and then if I want to delete a word, you see here, if I want to delete changes, now it tells me, now it opens on the side of the document, it opens a side panel, and it tells you which words have been deleted. Yeah, you have given your thesis to someone to proofread or to edit. This is what you will see. You will see all additions in red color and all other comments and like anything that's been deleted, you'll see here. You see it says deleted, and it will give you my name or the proofreader's name. Yeah, and it will tell you when. Yeah.
Right.
Then, as it's your thesis, when you get your thesis back, or when you are checking your thesis and you're looking through all the changes, if you don't agree with it, if you don't agree with the change, what you can do here is you can right click and you can say reject or accept. So if you like the change, you click accept, and then that will disappear. But if you disagree with the change, you can put reject. So if you click reject, that will put it back how it was before. Okay, so it goes back to the original. You see, again, I'll do that again. I've deleted changes. It comes up telling me I've deleted changes. If you agree with it, you can accept. If you disagree with it, you can reject. Yeah? So we are going to reject. Sorry, my computer is a bit slow. Okay, we'll forget that. Let's come here. Okay, the other thing that you can do is new comment. So track changes is just keeping a check of all the additions, and it's also keeping a track of anything deleted. But new comment, this is something as an editor, maybe I want to give a suggestion. So maybe here, for example, let's say here, I'm reading this sentence and I feel, as an editor, I think you can improve this. Maybe you can add one word. So what I can do here is I can right click as an editor, yeah, and I can go down here and add new comment. Then I can type in here, so I could make a comment. I could make a comment for the person I'm checking it for. Rewrite this sentence. Yeah, so I can leave comments. So usually what I do when I'm proofreading is that I will do both. I will put track changes and I will put comments. Okay? So it will look something like, if I just give you a quick example, depending on the number of corrections, it will look something like this. Let me give you an example. It will look something like this. Yeah? You can see that's what it will look like. So if you have given your thesis for someone to check and they are using Microsoft Word and they are doing track changes and comments, that's what it will look like. Lots of red lines and underline, and then you'll have a big column down the side, and then you'll be able to go through each one by one. Reject or accept, reject or accept. So that's what it will look like. Yeah? That's what it will look like.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's just to give you an example. So time is really going short. I want to try and give you as much information as I can. Okay, let's come out of that. So let's do one together as a final exercise today. We don't have the time to go through all of my examples, but let's at least look at one.
Yes, Mr. Oliver, forget the time. Yeah, take it easy. Yes.
Okay. If you are comfortable, then I'm also comfortable, because
Oliver Tana, let me suggest you spend your time as you like. We already buy this Zoom. We already bought this Zoom. You can spend time as your idea depends on
Okay.
your. No problem.
Okay, thank you, Bante. Thank you. Okay, because it's quite useful because actually we're not familiar with it. We're not familiar with this part of the process because this is very often neglected. Yeah, we don't think about this, but it's very important. So let's do this together. Let me just get rid of. Right, so I'll delete comment. Right, so now proofreading is for you. Look at this paragraph. Tell me what you see. You are now proofreading. So, tell me where are the corrections. What do you see? Take it line by line. Yeah, take it line by line. So this is very important, line by line. Yes.
Yes.
I see something, teacher.
Yes, Pandit.
I think the way of being translated and interpreted depending on the context. I think it should be depending on or something like that. So another one is in the context is brain use. I think is maybe brain.
Okay.
No? Yes, I guess. I'm not sure whether it is
Good.
correct or right.
Good. Any other good, Bante, really good. Any other suggestion? What else do you see?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
The last sentence. Each of these area will be explored. It may be something wrong, I think.
Okay. Good. Good. Any other suggestion?
In order to in is capital letter.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah. Anything else? So you've highlighted something not right here.
I will review the meanings of the Dhamma. Comma, comma, only close comma, not including the open the comma.
Yeah, good. Here.
And I see some nice one.
Okay.
The last sentence, each of these area will be explored. It should be a past tense. But it is
that was what
Yes.
Panyananda also said. Yeah, this one, something's not right there. At least when you're looking at it, you're thinking something's not right. Even though you might not be really clear what the problem is, you know something is not right. Then put it in Grammarly. You can pop it, you can put it in Grammarly and you can check it. Yeah, you can check it. Okay, good. In the fourth line needs apostrophe S. Good, very good. Yeah, very good.
Yes, Mr. Oliver, one point I would like to highlight is the usage of punctuation. The author didn't use the punctuation consistently. But the first line we see there were embedded comma. The second line we see single embedded comma.
Good.
The third line he missed the open embedded comma. But
good.
He used he used again double embedded comma.
Yeah.
Then the last line is he used again single embedded comma.
Exactly.
And this is my point.
Good. So this is what we would do. we would first identify, okay, do you want to use single inverted commas or do you want to use double? Personally, when using terms, I think single is better. When we're giving like a definition of a term, I think single is better. So, as an example, we've put track changes on up here. So we've got track changes on. Yeah, we've put that on now. So now, as a proofreader, this is what we'll do. We'll start doing this, and you can see the changes as they come up on the side. You can see. So we've deleted that, so you can see it's keeping a record of all the changes we're making. Okay, and we looked at this one before. You see here, we don't need the. We can remove. And it tells me here deleted the. Yes, Bande.
Yeah, I saw one on the point. This between the trail water bullet task and the commentary. I think between there is there some.
Very good, Bante. Very good. Something is missing there.
Yeah, and then also like that, there after this commentary, like this, no need comma, like this.
Exactly. Good, Bante. Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something is missing there, and obviously something is wrong there. It's come up with a blue line, but yes, we've got something's not right there. So let's go through. So we've changed that. Despite its crucial position in the Buddhism, this is a very common one. Those of you who have participated in my other sessions, in my other classes, you will know. And those of you who maybe we've checked some work together, you will know this is the most common. The most common grammar point that I'm correcting is the. Article or no article, the or no the is very, very difficult. So that's the most common one. So now this is good. Okay, here also another point, Dhamma. This is a Pali word. So what do you think?
I think we need to put the definition.
We have to choose italic.
Yeah. Let's put it in italic also. So that will also, you see, that's also recorded. So you can see here now on the side, we've got deleted inverted comma. We've got changed italic. We've got deleted the other inverted comma. We've got deleted. What was that one? Oh, that's a space. That was a space there. Deleted the, and then.
Yes, teacher. I want to know. Sometimes we use Pali, so the beginning word is a capital letter we use. So sometimes only small letter capital. What is different?
Again, Bante, this will be a style thing. Okay, some supervisor or whoever's checking your or helping you to check your thesis, sometimes they will say only use capital letter for Pali words at the beginning of a sentence. But I have also seen some other writers, they never use capital letters for Pali words. Even at the beginning of a sentence, it will still be a small letter.
Right. Yes. Of course. One of my teacher had already said there is no capital letter in the Pali word.
Exactly. So again, it just depends. Sometimes I have seen, sometimes I haven't seen. But the point is again consistency. So this is what an editor will look for. Yeah, they will look for consistency to make sure that it's all the same, that you're not using capital in one place, lowercase in another place, single in one place, double in another place. They are looking for consistency. So this is what we do. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What else have we got? Several ways of doing it, depending on the context. Yes. Not in the context, depending in the context, it should be here. This is a wrong preposition. Venerable Dhanisara pointed that out. It should be on. should be on. So you can see here it's telling me here deleted in, we've replaced it with on. In the canonical Theravada, yeah. Okay, good. In the canonical Theravada Buddhist, I think an S is missing there. Texts should be plural. And as Venerable Vijita, yes, removes that comma and.
No, we need to go and.
Yeah. And the commentaries.
Leave both of the comma and full stop.
So as they appear, there's a need to.
Yes, Bante, good. An S there. As it. Oh, and here also another Dhamma here, and this should be single. This should be italics. Good. In order to bring out, so we've removed that full stop here, made it a comma now. And then that's okay. Each of these areas will be explored with the D in detail in order to provide the accurate meaning of the term, and then we have here comma. Sorry, italics. Okay, so now we have corrected this paragraph, but there's one more thing. There's one more thing in this paragraph. So the first thing is we look for consistency. We check the punctuation. But now I want to look at the paragraph again. Now I want to see, are there any words that are repeated? Are there any phrases that are repeated that maybe we can change? Because we don't want to... Ah, yes, another one there, thank you. This should be... Yes, thank you. This should be... This is wrong. It's bring use, thank you. It should be it is.
It is.
Being. Yeah, good. Thank you. That's another correction. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. So it's really good. You're proofreading very nicely now. Yeah, there's something else. Look for repetition. Look to try and delete unnecessary words or improve. Is there anything else? What do you see?
Yes, excuse me, sir.
Yes, Bante.
I think at the beginning sentence, at the time is this Pali term, we need to point out what it is me.
Yeah, okay. So that exactly that could be. I could maybe add, like you said, maybe I could add a comment here saying you need to explain further, or you need to give more explanation. So yeah, it's a good suggestion. You could do that. Yeah, good, Bante, good. Yes, thank you, Venerable Rewata. Yeah, here we can see, look, you've got in order to, in order to, in order to, in order to. It's just a repetition. It's a repetition. So we could change. Yeah? We could maybe, we could just remove in order. Yeah? We could just delete that, and then we haven't got repetition. Yeah?
Yeah, no omission.
So now you can see down the side here, just with one small paragraph, you can see a lot of marks here, right?
Yeah.
Then when you check this, when you go through this together with your editor or with your friend or whoever it is that's helping you check your thesis, then you can go through each one and check. And if you agree, then what you can do is you have two options, okay? You see up here it says accept or reject. So if you read all of this and you agree with all of it, you can actually go accept here, and you can just accept all changes. So if I click that, that all disappears. Yeah, it's gone now, and you're left with a very nice finished paragraph, yeah, without any of the changes. Yeah, that's what it would look like. That's accepting all the changes. But maybe you don't want to accept all of them. Maybe you want to, maybe you don't want to accept them. So what you can do, you can go through individually, and you can just go here like, okay, in order to, we've got down here, okay, I want to keep that. So you can right click there and you can reject the change. So I can click that and it will put it back to the original. It will put it back to how it was. So you have lots of different options. You have different ways of accepting or rejecting. So I actually had prepared more, but these are quite big. But as an exercise, because actually you'll see another point here as an example. Some of you have read through this. You can see here it says example 1. It says example 1. You come down here. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this?
Example 2 is using memory.
Exactly. Not consistent. It's not consistent. Yeah. And then what about this one? What's wrong with it?
We lost comma.
Sorry, Bante?
Question mark.
No. Not what is probably this one. Example 3.
2 minutes, a capital letter. So
Capital
some,
T.
yeah.
Capital T.
Yeah.
And never and later.
Say again, Bante. Then what we should do? Say again.
Name is one to read later. Also one to read never.
Exactly.
The number.
There's something else. Yeah? It's a different font. This one is Cambria. Look, Cambria. Up here, this is Times New Roman. Yeah. So these are the things that someone will look for. Yeah. These are the things that you should be looking for. Yeah. As an example, when you look at this, we'll just finish on this one. If you look at this paragraph, there's also something wrong with it. Look down this side. Look down this side here. What's wrong here? What's wrong?
The paragraph is no balance.
Yeah.
Something are getting bad, something are getting
So
empty.
what I need to do,
We need to make it in balance.
yeah, exactly. What I need to do here is copy this, and I need to justify. Now I've reformatted it. Now it's justified. You see? These are the things we'd be looking for. Another thing. What do you notice about this line? What do you notice about this highlighted line here? Anything?
We did it.
Made M-A-D-O. Sorry.
It's also not
Yeah.
zero.
This different font. It's a different font. This is Calibri. You see up here in the font, it says Calibri. The rest of it is Times Romans. And sometimes, if it's a really good proofreader, sometimes it might just be, and I've seen this before, sometimes it will be, but you have to be quite experienced to do this. Sometimes it will just be one letter. Sometimes it will be one letter in the word. The R is in CAMARI, but the rest of it is in Times. So these are some of the things that you develop when you proofread more. You just pick up these things. You just notice these things. Yeah, so it comes with practice. Yeah. So I think it is enough information just to give you an idea.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Bante.
And then also this paragraph, the whole paragraph at the beginning, we need to go the depth.
You need to go the what? Sorry.
Depth at the beginning sentence.
One in the
One that we need to put. How do you think?
one tag.
No or yes, something like that.
I'm not following you, Bante. Sorry, can you?
Okay. Can you explain again? This paragraph at the beginning.
Yeah.
Beginning was it's a dedicated material, something like that. This one at this sentence we need to put the one step.
One step.
Yeah. Actually, this first sentence, there is something missing. This whole sentence, there is something missing. There are many mistakes. There are many mistakes in this paragraph, Bante. There are lots of things to correct, but we didn't have time to go through it. But there are lots of things in here. So, like the first sentence, something is missing. So sometimes when I'm reading, or when you're reading, sometimes when you're reading a sentence, maybe you read it once and you just think something's not right here. I don't know what it is, but something is not right. So you read it twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times, and you just look at it. Something's not right. Something's missing. Then you have to break up and look in a bit more detail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. There are lots of things in here, but we've run out of, I think time is probably enough. So, are there any questions? Do you have any questions?
I have one question, teacher.
Yes, Bande.
So, when we talk about the Buddha, sometimes we use the noun Buddha, but when we use again, we use by pronoun, just like he, him, something like that. So some people use only capital letter for the Buddha because they say the Buddha is a unique one. This one, this one.
Yeah.
It is no matter at the middle or at the end of sentence or at the beginning of sentence, they always use capital letter.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what is
yeah.
the reason?
It is. You mean he, as in the Buddha, capital H.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think it's because there's like, you want to respect, you want to give more respect, so you want to put a capital H, but grammatically we don't do. We don't do it. Like in the English language, we don't use, like for the president of a country, we don't use capital H. We just use he.
But I think they use or when they express their God.
I mean, it's also Bante. Like sometimes I've seen, nibbana, like nibbana. Okay. Sometimes I've seen writers, and you might be doing this as well. They always use capital N. Always capital N for Nibbana. No, wherever it comes in the sentence, always capital N. Capital N and italics for Nibbana. But other writers, I've just seen lowercase Nibbana. So it's just a style thing. Yeah, like I said, some writers follow one style, another writer follows another style. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But yes.
The beginning of the sentence is the exegetic material related. It should be here at the beginning of the exegetic. One tab jumping inside or not. One paragraph, one tab jumping inside. One tab jumping inside. We can see each paragraph, one tab jumping inside, or some are not. You understand?
Yeah, can you explain again, Bante?
Yeah, I think he means a first line indentation.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah, thank you. I got it. Thank you, Bante. Yes. Yeah, again, that's a style thing. Okay, so you will see it's quite common. The first paragraph of every chapter or new section will be not indented. It will not be indented. Then every paragraph that follows will be indented. So the first one is not indented, then all of the other paragraphs indented. Again, that is a style thing. Some writers do that, some writers don't do that. It just depends on what style you are following. Yeah. So, any other questions? I hope it was clear. Yes,
in the paragraph in Pali word, some like the what is identity or what is it? Some like index, or some are not. Well, what is the difference in the in Pali word? In Pali word.
Yeah.
Some like index, some don't like index. Well, what is the?
Yes, I've also seen that, Bante. It's true. I have seen some writers not use italic for some Pali words. I have seen it. Again, I think the common standard is the common, like, we should be trying to follow a similar format, a similar structure. And I would say that the most common way is that the Pali word should be in italics. But the word Pali, actually, I see many writers don't put that word in italics. The word Pali, the actual word Pali, or Theravada Buddhism, Theravada will not be in italics. So I've seen different.
Pali, Theravada, Abhidhamma, like
that.
Yeah,
exactly.
These are common words.
Yeah, exactly. So what you have to do, this is why it's very important to be in contact with your supervisor, whoever's helping you check or edit your thesis. You have to decide at the beginning. Okay, all Pali words we're going to put in italics. Then you just do that. Every Pali word in your thesis will be in italics. Or you decide at the beginning, okay, for names of books or pitakas, like Sutta Pitaka or Abhidhamma Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, we won't put in italics. Or like Digha Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, all the Nikayas, we won't put in italics because they're names of books or collections or something. But all of the quotations, all of the Pali quotations, we'll put those in italics. So that's something you do with an editor, is that you decide what's the style that you're going to use. then you can make sure that everything is consistent. Yeah, everything is the same.
I understand.
Yeah. So I'll stop sharing that.
Well, there is a time instruction, session number 8. Read it out loud. Listen,
Yeah.
then use that to speech, etc. Natural reader can. By means of this instruction, PhD reader can show how much result they can gain by means of this instruction. Number 8 session. There's a time instruction about the proofreading.
Yeah, here, this one, Bante. Yeah.
I want to know what types of result, how many types of result PhD student can gain by means of this instruction. Number 8, read it aloud.
You can get a lot of benefit. Yeah, you can get a lot of benefit. Reading out loud is so good for your English. Yeah, just for your English. So if you just read your thesis to improve your spoken English, then this is a real benefit, because you're really listening for the rhythm. Listening for the rhythm. Your writing is for reading, right? So when you write a thesis, you have to keep in mind someone is going to read your thesis. You have to think of the reader. Is it pleasant for the reader? Yeah? Is it easy for the reader to follow? Do my sentences flow nicely? Or is it really complicated and difficult? And so reading out loud, it gives you a sense of rhythm. Yeah? Some long sentences, some short sentences, some middle length sentences. Yeah? Every paragraph you should have variety. And by reading out loud, you'll get to know. Yeah? You'll get to know, how does it sound? How does it feel? So it will help a lot. It will help a lot in and having somebody else read your thesis to you, like literally, you've asked a friend, right, read this page to me. I have written it, read it to me. Then you can just sit and listen. How does it sound? Yeah, it's very, very useful.
Okay, so we have received one question in the chat box. Okay, additionally, before I read this question, additionally, I would like to remind all of the students to put a lot of questions. This is a great chance to you all. It is very hard to meet with Mr. Oliver, who is the learned and experienced teacher. How he well know how he should train a student. So he is I would like to express, he is a great teacher who know the character of the students. So I like to motivate all of the students. It is a great chance to ask a lot of questions what you are not and clear, what you are not clear.
Thank you, Bante. Yeah, I'm comfortable. If you're comfortable, I don't mind. We can go at least for another 10, 15 minutes or so. So yeah, if you are comfortable, you can ask any question. So yeah, one question. Thank you, Bante. Thank you very much for your...
I have also one question, but for my question, I read out the question in the chat box.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you.
Should we, the question is from KNW. Yes, should we put one gap line using enter between every two paragraphs, sir? This is the question of KNW.
Yeah. Yeah, these are really good questions, you know, and again, it just comes down to a style thing. sometimes when I'm doing something, like now I'm writing my MPhil at the moment, and I'm also considering these things. So I put one space, and then I look at it and I think it's too close. Like I would like to have a bit more space. So maybe I put 2 spaces in, and then I look at it and I think, yes, that seems like the right spacing. So I will use 2 spaces between each one. Or maybe 1 space is enough. So again, that is just a formatting point. So again, just decide what you feel what looks good on the page, what looks comfortable on the page. Choose that type of spacing, whether it's 1 gap or 2 gap, and then use that throughout your thesis.
Yeah. Good suggestion.
Thank you for your answer, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to know whenever area wants have
What about?
the organizer of this meeting. Yes, how many times would you allowed to ask questions?
Yeah.
Because I have 1 question, if you are permitted.
Depends on Mr. Oliver Tanner. Yeah, we can spend another 10 minutes. Yeah, happy 9 to her, 9:30. So depends on Mr. Oliver Tanner. Can you spend another more time?
Yeah.
Mr. Oliver, you can ask a question.
Yeah, please ask. I'm okay.
Yes. Yes, I would like to ask 1 question. Before I asking question, I would like to say I am very thankful to your time. In near future, we have to. I have to face this challenge. Proofreading, because now I am trying to finish my writing chapters. So it is for me. It is very useful and practical lecture. Today I has learned from you.
Good, Dante. I'm happy.
Yes. Very
Yes.
thankful to you. But now my question is, yes, what time should we make reading at the end of each chapter or at the end of all entire chapter? What time
or the entire chapter? You want to know how many times he should do reading?
Yeah. So I would say both. I would say both. You know,
read in each chapters.
Yeah. I think it's like I said. I've been in the situation where I've had a finished thesis given to me, and we just check the whole thing from start to finish. And then other times it's let's go chapter by chapter. But even if you go through chapter by chapter, after finishing the whole thing, you should then check it again. So I would say what you could do, maybe at the end of each chapter, you could do sort of one or 2 sort of passes through it, just trying to pick up, then move on to the next one. Then you can let that one breathe. Yeah, you can let that chapter breathe. You can come back to it later. Yeah, so you can sort of do it in stages.
Take more time.
Yeah. It takes time. And it just depends. It really depends, because, to be completely honest with you, I know, if we go to, a university here in Sri Lanka, we can pick up any MPhil or any PhD thesis in the library. We can pick it up, and probably we can read that, and there will be many grammar mistakes, because I don't think, because of different situations, people don't pay enough attention to this. It's just, I finished the thesis, it's 4 years, oh, I just want to finish, it's too long, now I just want to go home and I want to finish this. So they neglect this. Yeah, they neglect this part, and it's very sad because your PhD thesis is like, it's your work. So someone who's reading that is actually judging your ability. They are looking at the quality of your writing, the quality of your thesis. And if it is full of punctuation mistakes and grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes, then it just doesn't reflect you in a positive way. So I think it's really worth just spending a bit more time just checking it as best you can, you know, to pick up these small things. Yeah.
Yes. Any more question? And any participants? Any more question? Is enough? Is it time?
Also, Mr. Oliver need to take a rest.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Mr. Oliver, now is it time to stop?
Okay, Nante. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so many thanks. May you and your family well be health and wealth, especially finally to Team Nibbana. And also, and also you complete your intention to finish your PhD thesis. You have fulfilled your desire. May your desire will be fulfilled. Or in any existence, you will be reborn, will be a great educated person and benefit the whole world, actually, you know, Buddhism. So today you are giving lecture is really vitally important for all the research students. And also proofreading is a very rare chance. Editing thesis is a rare chance for all students. That's why you can win everything what you want out of your good merit. Lecturing, sharing lecture to all the participants, honorable monks and nuns, and ladies and gentlemen, all our participants. You can do great meritorious action today. That's why you will fulfill your desire will be fulfilled according to your good meritorious action. So we all pray you the higher life after in the existing will be reborn. Will gain, you know, attaining Nibbana in final goal of the Buddhism. All of the students, now is it time to complete may you all will fulfill your desire, will help with to gain your final goal and your intention. So today we have to complete our Zoom session saying 3 times Buddha Sasana Siran Tetatu. Buddha Sasana Siran Tetatu. Buddha
Sasana